Welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita classes. So we are in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita is also known as Summary of the Bhagavad Gita, and it is also known as Sankhya Yoga. Why particularly this chapter got the name Sankhya Yoga? Sankhya means what?
Philosophy.
Yes, count. So in this chapter, particularly Krishna is talking about the characteristic of the soul. So this is particularly spoken only in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is elaborately speaking about the characteristics of the soul. And the very first teaching of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is, we are not the body, we are the soul. So Arjuna was compassionate about killing his own relatives, killing his own teacher, killing his own grandfather. Therefore, the first statement Krishna is refuting is to say that the real compassion should be for the soul and not for the body. Actually speaking, nobody can kill anyone. But that doesn't mean that you can kill anyone saying that actually I'm not killing anyone. It has to be an authorized killing, a killing for the sake of establishing the dharma. For example, a soldier kills the enemy in the war, but he just cannot kill the neighbor because he has any enmity towards him. So Krishna spoke several characteristics of the soul, and one of the main characteristics of the soul is eternal. It is it is Shashwat, whereas the body is Ashashvata. It is temporary. So we need to know that whatever we are doing, it should be satisfying the body or it should be satisfying the soul. The soul, because the soul is our real identity, and the soul is also the part and parcel of Krishna. We have our own identity, and our real identity is we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are his eternal servant. So this is the actual self-realization means that we are not the body, we are the soul, and we are the eternal servant of the
servants of Krishna.
As long as we are not situated in this state of realization, then we are in the bodily platform, and then we have to take birth after birth, and not only in human body, we have to be in several bodies. It depends on which consciousness we leave the body. And Krishna clearly states in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyachante kalevaram. So with whatever consciousness one leaves the body, that particular body he will take for sure. So this body is nothing but the dress. Like how the dress, over a period of time, the dress becomes old and it gets torn. So similarly, this body gets weared out and then it has to accept a new body. The soul will wear out with the old dress and has to accept the new dress. So every birth is acceptance of a new dress. So how can we come out of it? So Krishna is talking about in the next section on two dharmas. So two dharmas. One is Swadharma, the duty because of our own varna and ashrama, or prescribed duty. Whatever position each one of us is situated, we are supposed to do our prescribed duty. Another is parodharma.
Parodharma.
But while performing the prescribed duty, most of the people, they are performing karma kanda yajna. So karma kanda means what? Doing some activities for the for the satisfaction of the God, but not exactly for his satisfaction, doing something so that our material desires gets fulfilled. So we are so much situated in our this platform, in our bodily platform, that initially the person's journey mostly starts with the karma kanda. So that's why even Krishna is telling Arjuna, when Arjuna was speaking about enjoyment. So without any relatives, without any friends, how will I enjoy? Even if I get this kingdom, what is the use of getting this kingdom? For that, Krishna is talking in the terms of enjoyment. He says, even if you are winning this war, you will be ruling this world. You will be the emperor. even if you're losing the war, you will attain Swargaloka. And Swargaloka is a place where there is immense material enjoyment. So, whatever material enjoyment that we get in this world where we are living in this planet Earth is nothing in comparison to the sense enjoyment that we can get in the Swargaloka. Even they say the women in Swargaloka is at least 10,000 times more beautiful than the Miss World or Miss Universe of this world. So you can imagine the state of comforts and the state of, the opulences that is available there. Even within the material world, people like to go to places like US and Europe and other developed countries, thinking that there is a good facilities for living. And imagine in the Swargaloka, the facilities are much, 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 much more compared to this material. And they live longer also. So all such facilities are available. So Krishna is speaking on enjoyment. Then Krishna is saying, Arjuna, just don't stop with this enjoyment. Life is just not about enjoying this world, but there is another duty which is called as parodharma,
Parodharma.
rendering the devotional service for the Lord. And what is the benefit of this devotional service? Krishna says in a very beautifully, Neha Bikramanasosti Pratyavayona Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayato Bhagato Bayat. Even if one performs Swalpam, Alpam, very, very small, that protects the person from the greatest danger. And what is the greatest danger is going back to the animalistic life. At least if a person has performed some devotional service in this body, in this lifetime, there is chance for him to get human form of life. He will at least not degrade to the animal life.
Lower.
Otherwise, again, he has to go down to the animal life and has to go through the journey of 84 lakh species of life to attain the human form of life. Therefore, we as the devotees, what we should do, we should try to distribute the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the literatures of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to many people, at least to save them from the danger of them becoming animal in the next life.
Next gen.
And Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekega Kurunandana. So Krishna is talking about, a person should be singly focused, not multi-focused. So we have to be very particularly focused. Sometimes people, they go Monday, they go to Shiva temple. Tuesday, they pray Hanuman. Wednesday, they go to some other temple. Thursday, they go to Sai Baba. Friday, they go to some Devi's temple. Saturday, they go for some Shani Bhagwan or something like that. And Sunday, they pray Durga or Surya Dev. Like that. How can your mind be fixed? Your mind cannot be fixed. So Krishna says, Ekeha Kurudantana, become singly focused. And by performing Karma Kanda Yajna, your particular desires may get fulfilled. But for example, whatever the river, if there is a big body of water like a river, it can fulfill all the purposes. One can bath, one can use it for drinking, one can wash the clothes, one can use it for the household purpose, for cooking, and many purpose. Whereas in the villages, there used to be many wells. One well for bathing, one well for drinking, one well for cooking, one well for serving the god. So if there is a big body of water, then whatever the purpose the small body serves, the big body is automatically serving. So,
Yeah.
for example, if you're having 1 lakh rupee, if I'm asking Mataji, do you have 100 rupees? That is a
It is
foolish
already
question
understood.
because it is already understood that 100 rupees is there within a lakh rupees. So, therefore, when we serve Krishna, that means we are serving each and every demigod. We are serving each and every devatas. So, there is no need for us to, particularly serve for a particular purpose. So, all the purposes achieved by serving the like how the river serves, the big body of water serves. So it is understood by serving Krishna, all we are serving everybody. Yasmin tushto jagat tushto. When Krishna is satisfied, the entire Jagat is the universe is satisfied. Then Krishna is talking about the benefits of Buddhi Yoga. What are the four benefits of Buddhi Yoga? Freedom from the good and bad reactions. And we also spoke elaborately on karma. So, good and bad reactions, both are not very favorable. Why? Why both good and bad reactions are not favorable?
It will take us to
It
again
will
to
again
repeated
give
birth.
us another birth. Even if you do some very good punya karma, then we may go to heavenly planets. But Krishna says, Shine punye matyaloke vishanti. As soon as your piety gets exhausted, then we have to come back to this material world again. So that means we are not getting freedom from the cycle of repeated birth and death. Even many of us, we are also having little bit of happiness in this world, and we are also having little bit of suffering in this world. Each and every one of us, we are not always happy or we are not always suffering. It is because we have performed some mixed karma in our previous life. We have performed some punya karma, because of which we are getting some happiness in this world, and we have done some papa karma, because of which we are suffering in this world. So we have all done mishra karma. We have not done completely punya or completely papa. So
Papa.
we are suffering from happiness and distress. But when we are doing our activities for Krishna, then it becomes bhakti karma. And that karma will directly take us back home, back to Godhead.
Got it.
So we may not get the benefit of it. For example, when you're doing the punya karma, you reap the benefit of it. When you do a papa karma, also that you have to suffer for it. But when you do Krishna karma, you may not get the benefit in this body. Okay. But that
But
will
the soul.
directly take us back home, back to Godhead.
Got it.
So that is what we do when we are rendering the devotional service to Krishna.
Krishna.
And freedom from repeated birth and death.
Birth and death.
Punarapi jananam, punarapi
Punarabhi
maranam.
Marana.
This is Shankaracharya. In the end, he says that
Vajagovindam.
Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja
Govind.
Mudamate. If you are not surrendering to Govinda, then you are a Muda.
Muda.
Muda means you are a foolish.
Full.
So, although Shankaracharya gave an impersonal philosophy while throughout his life, but in the end, he did not, he only said Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. Surrender to Govinda. Because each and every avatars, they paved a way for the future thing. For example, Buddhist philosophy came, and Buddha did not speak about the soul, and he has abolished all the Vedic rituals,
Rich. Yeah.
because people, in the name of animal sacrifices, because earlier in the till the time of Dwapar Yuga, when they are doing animal sacrifice, they were able to, liberate the animal. That animal would immediately get a human form of life. But later on, as the Kali Yuga was almost approaching and it started, they slowly lost the power. Their mantras lost the power, the purity became a power. But they did not want to accept that they were not able to liberate the animals anymore. So, what they started doing is, even the Brahmanas, in the name of animal sacrifices, they started eating those animals. So there was massive non-violence, violence that was happening all over. And at that particular time, you cannot talk about bhakti, you cannot talk anything. Therefore, what Krishna came in the form of Buddha, and just to stop the violence, he came. So that is just, when people are so mad, whatever you say, they cannot understand anything. First you should have some basic things in them, right? So he first stopped all the violent activity. That's why Buddha established non-violent philosophy. But that doesn't mean that it just stopped with that. Later on, Shankaracharya came and he established the Vedic culture,
Vedic.
the four Vedas, and he established. But then again, Bhakti movement started, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all, they came and they gave Bhakti. So it is just like giving the way. Like when we are building a skyscraper building, you cannot build let's say it's a building of 50 floors. When you want to come to 50th floor, you have to build till 49. So similarly, to reach until this point, therefore, in the various forms, the Shastras were given. So, but the highest form is bhakti. So even in Bhagavatam it is mentioned, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Sapyate. The first realization is Brahman realization. And the second realization is Paramatma. Brahman realization is knowing that the God is all pervasive, like the sunshine is all pervasive. Paramatma realization that he is just not all pervasive, but he is also localized in the form of Paramatma. But the highest realization is Bhagavan. He is just he is all pervasive, he is localized. At the same time, he is a personality of Godhead. One can have a relation with God. He is a supreme personality. He is not a normal, ordinary personality like us, but he is a supreme personality. So, that is the highest understanding of self realization, knowing that Bhagavan is also a person and we are also a person, but we are his eternal servant. It's
Servants,
part and parcel. We
parcel
can
of
never
Krishna.
be equal to God.
Yeah.
Asamauta, the another name of Krishna is Asamauta. He is never equal to anyone. He is greater than any one of us. That's why he is called Asamauta. So it is very, very important for us to understand the position of Bhagavan. And that person also becomes indifferent to all the Vedic rituals. Why people perform Vedic rituals? To attain certain, to obtain some material gratification, some material desires. So he become indifferent to Vedic rituals, because when you are serving Krishna, that means you are serving everyone. Even in the first chapter, we saw that for a devotee, there is no need to perform even Shraddha, because his devotional service itself can elevate how many Prabhupada in the purport has written, it can elevate hundreds of generations to come. So when we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and when we are performing loving devotional service to Krishna, we don't have to, we are not obligated to perform these Vedic rituals. So what is the
Rituals
another benefit we saw?
that would realization
That
realization of relationship with
with the
Krishna.
Lord, with Krishna, that he is a supreme Lord and we are his eternal servants. So these are the
Servants of
four benefits of Buddhi Yoga. And later on, in the last division, Arjuna is asking about Krishna, asking to Krishna that you have spoken about Buddhi Yoga very nicely, but how can we recognize a person? What is the symptom of a person who is in the Buddhi Yoga, who is in Krishna consciousness, who is Siddha Prajna? How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he control his senses? And
senses.
Krishna is very beautifully replying to each of the Arjuna's questions. And he says how a Sita Prajna, he controls the senses like a tortoise. Whenever there is a dangerous situation, like how the turtle withdraws all its limbs within the shell, so similarly, a Sita Prajna, a Krishna conscious person, withdraws all his senses when there is an unfavorable situation. And while it is not very easy to artificially control the senses, because the tendency to enjoy the senses still remains. For example, a diabetic patient may refrain from sweets, but his tendency or his inclination or his desire to eat the sweet might have not gone. So how can such thing can go, such desires can go? By
It's your
developing the
experiencing
higher
higher
taste.
taste.
Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When you develop the higher taste, then the lower taste will automatically
Automatically.
go away. And then Krishna is speaking about krodha, why a person gets angry. So dhyayato vishayan pumsa, when because of association with the matter, with the sense object. So when we are associating with, when we are contemplating on the sense object, then what happens? We develop attachment towards that object. And when we develop the attachment towards the object, and if that desire does not fulfill, then what happens? It becomes krodha, it becomes anger. And what happens when a person gets anger? His memory is lost, his intelligence is bewildered, and he falls back into the material pool again. Therefore, Krishna says, even in the 17th chapter, that Trividam Narakasedam Dvaram Nashanam Atmana Kama Krodha Tata Lobha Taspat Eta Trayam Tyajet. The three gateway of hell is Kama, Krodha,
Krodha,
Lobha. Kama, is because you have the desires, and krodha, the anger, and
Anger.
lobha is the greediness, right? People, today, the materialistic life is making us to become more and more greedy. It doesn't allow us, to remain peaceful, right? For example, the same society where we are living, Mahendra, they are coming up with a new property,
Another one, yeah.
and they are not even sparing the people who are already living here. They wanted us to come and have a view of property. So when you sold some time back, you told that this house is going to be so great and you're going to live very happily here. There are so many facilities. And now 15 years later, you're saying that, this facility is not so great. Now we
We'll
are
have more.
building a new one. So you probably consider about booking a house
New
there.
one.
New one. So it is nothing but, making you feel more and more greedy.
Greedy.
That whatever you have. So what is the purpose of you buying this house? And then this is not anymore very great. And because there's going to be a new upcoming property that you come and be there. So similarly, after few years, another property will come. Then you will be just moving on here and there, like monkeys will be just jumping from one
One place to
place to
another.
another place. So this is what the material civilization does, that nothing but increasing your sense gratification and increasing your greediness. And later on Krishna says, who is a devotee who will be a complete recipient of the his mercy is raga dvesha vimukteshu, who is free from attachment and aversion and who follows the rules and regulations. Such a devotee will get a complete mercy of Krishna. So the secret to get the complete mercy of Krishna is already there. All we need to do is we need to follow it. Raga dvesha. We like something, we do not like something. We like few people, we hate few people. So this all becomes raga dvesha. But if one understands each and every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna, and even in Christianity, there is a saying that hate the sin, but not the sinner. If a person is committing any sinful activities, that is because of his nature. So, knowing that still the Paramatma, Krishna in the form of Paramatma, is there in every living entity, one should not at least have dvesha. One should not have aversion. You may not be attached, but be neutral. Krishna will take care of that person. And prasadam, once it is offered to Krishna, even if it is Kadela, you don't like, but still you have to take because Krishna had it. So I should also take that, right? And once a devotee gets the complete mercy of Krishna, then what does the benefit is? He is completely free from all the threefold miseries. Tapatraya, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik,
Adi
and
Bhautik.
Adhyatmik. Now we see, yesterday I heard from one of the devotee, Vrindavan is very, very hot. It's 45 degrees Celsius in the day. But that doesn't stop the pilgrimage from going to Vrindavan. Even though it is too hot, but still people are visiting. They are not affected by this tapa. This is Adi Daivik. It is the nature thing, but still they are not affected. So that is what the devotee is. And then we also saw that what happens when a person is not connected to Krishna. Ayukta. Ayukta means a person who is not attached to Krishna. His mind is not fixed. His intelligence is not fixed. Therefore, he cannot be peaceful. And without peace, he cannot be happy. So, therefore, Krishna very clearly said that without getting connected to Krishna, without connecting to our constitutional position, real position, one can never be happy, because one can never be peaceful in this material world, because the material world is full of miseries. And even if you're endeavoring something, because see, sometimes the students, they struggle very hard to crack the JE and they go to IIT colleges, they come, they get placement, they get a fat salary, but still they are in a very, very uh, too much of, they are under too much of pressure and distress. Because I just came to know that, through my nephew, that one of his friend, he got a very nicely paid job. He's a very intelligent boy. He got into the IIT Chennai, Madras, and then he got a job. But Literally his job was so stressful that he has to keep the BP meter with him because he just could not hold on to pressure. And then he quit the job and he joined the job which was paying him lower than that because he just could not handle the pressure.
Pressure.
Maybe they can pay you more.
Hmm.
But if somebody is paying you more, that they are also giving you a lot of pressure.
Expecting.
Imagine a
Hmm.
25-year-old boy going with the BP machine, how sad it is. The entire life when this is a situation of today's world, modern amenities. They say modern comforts, modern this thing, and you should you should be a winner. You should live your life. They don't let you to live your life. They are today actually, if you see that the youngsters dying out of heart attack has become quite normal. The old people, they are much better because in their earlier days they had better food and they had a better environment.
Life.
Yeah, environment and everything. They were less pollution for them. They were exposed so many industries, so many objects, then pollution increased, environment is becoming bad. That's what today, that in this year we are hitting 45s. This is all time high for our country because we are exploiting the nature and the nature is giving back to us, right? So, where is the peace? If you are materialistic, where is the peace? There is no peace and there is no happiness. And then we saw Krishna is giving the analogy of day and night. What is day for a sadhaka is a night for a materialistic person, and what is a night for the materialistic person is a day for the samyami, a self-controlled person. And in the previous class, Krishna gives another beautiful analogy of an ocean. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tatvad kamayam
Sorry.
pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. So the
Kami.
ocean sometimes receives more water during the rainy season, and sometimes the ocean receives less water. But the ocean, because it is so deep, is the ocean affected by the inflow of water? The ocean
No.
still remains still. The
Hmm.
ocean is not affected. So, similarly, a Krishna conscious person, desires will keep coming. Like how the ocean keeps getting water, desires will keep coming. You cannot stop the desires. It will keep coming. You're sitting in a home, somebody calls you and they say such and such things are there, a new car has launched. The bank says that you have an instant loan, without any papers. The loan is sanctioned for you. You can get 1 lakh. Like that, many things comes to us. Many allurements comes to us. Even if you just don't get out of the home, just in your phone, if you see, so many allurements come. So, but what is happening with a Krishna conscious person? He is remain
Not
unaffected.
disturb.
Is not. But a kami, it can be a mukti kami or siddhi kami or a jnani. They all are not peaceful because they have some desires. Even though they are trying to connect to Krishna, but they have some motive. It is not unmotivated surrender to Krishna. They are approaching God. They want to get rid of this material life. But the very desire that I have to get liberated and go, that is also a desire.
Hmm.
So either way, they are bound by desire because of which they are ashanti. They are not peaceful.
Peaceful.
The real peaceful, but a person, a Krishna conscious person, he is full because he's so happy in his service to Krishna that other desires doesn't haunt him. Like if you have had a very nice feast, even if somebody is offering you, let's say you like rasmalai so much, will you be able to eat?
No. You're
Why?
already
Because
full.
our stomach is already full. So similarly, if our desires or with Krishna in the endeavor to satisfy Krishna's desire, then we will not be affected by the worldly desires. So today again, Krishna is concluding this particular verse on the Sita Prajna. How is a person who is a Sita Prajna? How will he be? He is kind of concluding that. We will do this verse. screen share happening, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 71. Vihaya kamanya sarvan
विहाय कामान्य सर्वान्
pumsam charati nispriha
पुंसां चरति निःसर्व
nirmamo nirahankara
निर्ममो निरहङ्कार
dashantim adhigacchati.
स शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति
Vihaya kamanya sarvan
विहाय कामान्य सर्वान्
pumsam charati nispriha
पुमसं चरति निःसर्प
nirmamo nirahankara
निर्ममं निरहङ्कार
sashantim adhigacchati.
शशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति
Vihaya kamanya sarvan
विहाय कामान्य सर्वान्
pumsam charati nispriha
पुंसां चरति निःस्वर
nirmamo nirahankara
निर्ममो निरहङ्कार
sashantim adhigacchati.
शशान्तिम् अधिगच्छति
Would like to do this?
I'll do it.
Please.
विहाय कामान्य सर्वान्
Vihaya
विहाय
kamanya
कामान्य
sarvan
सर्वान्
पुमां चरति निःसर्पः
पुमां
pumsam charati nispriha
निष्पय
निर्ममो निरङ्कारः
nirmamo
निर्ममो
nirahankara
निरहङ्कार
शान्तिम् अधिगच्छति
sashantim
शान्ति
adhigacchati.
अधिगच्छति
विहाय giving up कामान material desires for sense gratification यह who सर्वान all पुमाम a person charati lives nihaspriyah desireless nirmamah without a sense of proprietorship nirankarah without false ego sah he shantim perfect peace adigachati attains. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship, and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace.
Thank you, Mataji. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swami Namini. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Vishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So again, Krishna, in continuing the previous verse, like how a person can come out of all the desires and about the peace. So a person, Vihaya Kamanya Sarva, who has come up all desires for sense gratification. We just spoke about there are so many allurements in today's world for sense gratification. So, but if we have to give up all such allurements for gratifying our senses and become desireless, so it is not very easy for anybody to become desireless. Desireless means not having desire to enjoy the senses, but to satisfy Krishna's desire. That is a real desireless. Because if we are desireless, the very nature of the soul also has some desire. The soul is Anandamayo Bhyasa. The soul is Ananda. So the soul has some desires, but that desire should be to satisfy the desires of Krishna and not to satisfy our own desires. Nirmamo. So we are all in the thing. This is mine. This house belongs to mine. This is my child. My child has secured first in the school in the 10th examination. So we are so proud about our children. We are so proud about, okay, our nation. So somebody has got a Olympics medal. So we are so proud. My country has won the medal, Olympic medal. My country has won the cricket trophy. So all these things are what?
Mine.
Ahankar, nirmamam, aham mamaiti. My, me, my, and mine. But Isha Upanishad, Krishna very clearly said, Isha Vashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to Krishna. He is the proprietor of everything. We are not the proprietor of anything. Everything that is given to us is by Krishna. We do not really own anything. The moment we are in the ownership, then that means we will lose our peace. Anir ahankara, the ahankara, like intelligence, mind, and false ego. These three things are our subtle mind. What is the false ego? Means thinking that I am this body. This is a false ego. But our real ego is we are the eternal
Servants of
servants
Krishna.
of Krishna. That is our real ego. Anything that we think on a bodily concept, that is a false ego.
Ego.
Even we see a sweeper, he also has a false ego. He thinks that only because of him his family is surviving. Right? Each and every person in this material world thinks himself to be very important person in this material world. Everybody wants to become the masters of this world. But the real position is, even in this material world, each and everybody is serving somebody or the other. The prime minister, he is the leader of the nation. But actually speaking, he is also a servant. He's serving the citizens of the country, right? Wife is serving the husband. Husband is serving the wife. Everybody is serving somebody or the other. Can anybody be without serving anyone? Knowing that our real position is serving, either we are serving Krishna or we are serving Maya, in spite of that, we think that we are the masters. We think we are great. I am the vice president of the company. I am the CEO of this company. I own like 10 houses. You know, my child is, working in a very great company like that. Like that, we are having so many such kind of false ego.
Ego.
This is all the things. So one has to come out from all such kind of proprietorship, false ego, and desires for sense gratification. And he alone, you can hear the Krishna's words, he alone can attain
Can
the
attain
real
real
peace. So
peace.
if you really want to attain peace, we have to come out of these three tendencies: tendency to gratify our senses, tendency of sense of false proprietorship, and false ego. The real ego is knowing that we are the eternal servants of Krishna, and knowing that it is Krishna has given me this, so that I am utilizing Krishna's property. Everything belongs to him. Nothing belongs to me. I will only use whatever is allotted for me. I have to work to keep my body and soul together, to maintain my family. That's all. Rest, this human form of life is for self-realization, is for Bhagavad Prapti, to go back home, back to Godhead. That should be the real goal and the real purpose of human form of life. Because after many, many, many lifetimes, we have obtained this human form of life. That's what Prahlad says, Kaumaram acharet pragnyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma. How is this manusha janma? Is very, very durlabam.
Durlabhyam.
Very, very rare. Tadapi atruvam arthatam. Even that is not going to be there forever. It is going to be temporary only. We are not going to be in this world forever. But we can make it meaningful. Even though the human form of life is also very short span of life, but we can make it meaningful. That's why Prahlad says, Kaumaram acharet prajnu. This particular Bhagavata Dharma should start right from childhood, because the time is very limited, right? 50% of our day goes in sleeping, eating, and doing our nitya karma, right? So even if somebody is living for 100 years, 50 years is gone like that. The first 20 years is going in childhood proclivity, and 20 years is going in the work life. So even if a person is living for 100 years, he has only 10 years of his life to perform devotional service. So if that is a limited time we are having, then how careful we should be in utilizing our time. So whatever time we have, we should try to utilize it in Krishna's service and not to gratify our own senses. Yes, we are working hard from Monday to Friday. So we shouldn't think, okay, Saturday and Sunday, let it be for my own relaxation. What you can do is you can do some service to Krishna. Chanting is also a service to Krishna. Preparing a nice bhoga and offering is also a service to Krishna. Not necessarily you have to go home and go out and do. You can be situated in whatever position you are and you can still serve Krishna. Correct? You can call up your friend or you can call up some relative and you can inspire them about Krishna consciousness. You can talk something about Bhagavad-Gita, whom you know that person who respects you. Correct? Like that, you can also give Krishna consciousness to somebody just being situated in the home. So therefore, this is a person who can attain a real peace. Let's go through the purport. Mataji, go ahead.
What desireless means? To become desireless means not to desire anything for sense gratification. In other words, desire for becoming Krishna conscious is actually desirelessness.
So that is the desirelessness means not that you should stop all your desire, but you should have a desire for becoming Krishna conscious. You feel like eating a nice gulab jamun. Make it, offer it to Krishna and have it as a prasadam. You don't have to refrain from eating gulab jamun, whereas you can offer it and you can eat it, right? So just for an example, so this is a way, fulfill your desires, but keep Krishna in the center. Do it by satisfying Krishna's desire. We are not abstaining. See, one thing that is so beautiful in Krishna consciousness is Krishna consciousness is not telling us to get retired from our work. When we are Krishna conscious, we are doing the same activity. What we were doing before, we are doing the same activity now also. We have not changed our activity. But what changed is our consciousness changed.
Keep him in the
Activities
center.
does not change, but only thing is the consciousness is changing. Are we not seeing the difference? How by doing the same activity, our consciousness has changed? Correct?
Yes.
Shweta Mataji, go ahead.
What is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness? To understand one's actual position as the eternal servitor of Krishna without falsely claiming this material body to be oneself and without falsely claiming proprietorship over anything in the world is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness.
So that is very important. Krishna conscious devotee will not say even that house belongs to him or her. The Krishna conscious person say, this is Krishna's home and I am living in this home so that I can serve him. So that should be our real consciousness, is everything belongs to Krishna. I am just using his property. Like previously also in the class, I have given an example of a carpenter who makes a nice furniture. But will the carpenter take the furniture with him and go because he made it?
No.
No, he knows that the materials belong to us. Therefore, he will make, and whatever for the service that he did, he will charge something, we pay him, and the furniture will be with us, right? So, similarly, Krishna has given everything to us for us to use. Therefore, we shouldn't claim that it is ours. Everything belongs to him. The sun works under his direction. Without sun, there cannot be life in this world, right? So without any raw materials, can there be any industries?
No.
Can we produce oxygen in the laboratory? Yes, little bit of oxygen, but that is also taken from nature, right? Can we produce rice in the laboratory? No. So we should understand that everything belongs to Krishna. not claiming this to be, I am this person, I am such and such person. Sarva Upadi Vinid Bhuktam. We have to come out of all sense of proprietorship. We should not think, okay, I am this person, I am from this place, I am from this background. No, when we are Krishna conscious, we are all in the same plane. Doesn't matter from whichever background we are. We are all the eternal servants of Krishna.
Symptom of a Krishna conscious person. One who is situated in this perfect stage knows that because Krishna is the proprietor of everything, everything must be used for the satisfaction of Krishna.
So he knows everything belongs to Krishna. So whatever I use is only for his satisfaction. For example, even if you own the house, we should think that Krishna is a proprietor of this house. And whatever I'm doing within this house, whatever I'm cooking, it belongs to Krishna. Even my child, Krishna is the supreme father of all living entity. I am only the caretaker of my child. We should not try to own our
Own
child.
it.
We should rather think that we are only assigned this particular living entity is assigned to us. Krishna has given the responsibility of this child to us. So, with that mentality, with that consciousness, we should raise our children also.
Example, Arjuna. Arjuna did not want to fight for his own sense satisfaction, but when he became fully Krishna conscious, he fought because Krishna wanted him to fight. For himself, there was no desire to fight, but for Krishna, the same Arjuna fought to his best ability. Real desirelessness is desire for the satisfaction of Krishna, not an artificial attempt to abolish desires. The living entity cannot be desireless or senseless, but he does not have to change the quality, but he does have to change the quality of the desires.
So that is very important. We saw in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna did not want to fight because of his own sense gratification. He thought that, how will I enjoy without my relatives? So he was thinking about sinful activities. So he was thinking more about himself. So, but because Krishna wanted him to fight, therefore Arjuna fought in this war to satisfy whose desires? Krishna's desires. So we have to do everything as per Krishna's desire. So we saw that Yudhishthir had to go to hell for one day because he was not ready to lie. When Krishna told him to lie to Dronacharya that Ashwatthama died, he still did not want to lie. He thought, I am a Dharmaraj. How can I say a lie? Even though he said Ashwatthama, then soft voice he said elephant. But Dronacharya did not hear because as soon as somebody died, there will be a very big sound of drums or anything. But because Yudhishthir said the elephant, he has to see the hell for one day. So, what is Krishna conscious person does everything to satisfy Krishna's desire, not to satisfy his own desire, right? Sometimes people say, like Prabhupada himself says that, Krishna consciousness is a pushing movement because people are all in the slumber. They are all in the sleeping stage. If somebody is in the deep slumber, just waking up normally, will it wake up a person? Will it
No.
be possible to wake up? No. It just happened yesterday. I went down to walk and I forgot to take the key with me. My daughter was still sleeping. I had to ring the bell 10 times for her to wake up because she was in a deep sleep.
Sleep.
So if somebody is in a deep slumber, if a normal, ordinary person, if he's just in the sleep, one bell will wake up a person or a two bell. Why we should put 10 bell? Because in the deep slumber. So if a person is in the material slumber, in the deep material slumber, unless otherwise you push the person and you toda hilake, then do you think that person will become Krishna conscious soon? No. Therefore, it is a pushing movement. But, I say, I don't believe in pushing people. I don't believe. But Prabhupada said it is a pushing movement. Krishna wanted this to go to everyone. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jare te ko, tare kaho, Krishna upadesh. So when they have all said, and you said that I don't believe in doing that, that means you are bringing in your thought, which is not the thought of Guru and Krishna. So is it the right thought? Correct?
Hmm.
We should try. The normal person is not going to be, very, very easy to bring in. Okay, even yesterday, just even in book distribution, it so happens somebody says, I don't have time, I cannot read anything. Then I ask, do you believe in God? Yes, I believe in God. So how hypocritic you are. You believe in the God, but you don't want to hear the Lord's Vani. You don't want to hear what the Lord is talking to us. Isn't it hypocritic? Can you say you love your father, but you will not listen to your father? Can that be a love?
Hmm.
So Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's Vani to us. Krishna is talking to us through Bhagavad Gita. So how can somebody love God, but you will not hear what God is talking? When you make such heavy statements, no, then the people understand, and then he got all the 7 books that I had in one particular language, not just one book, 2 book. But, we have to make such strong statement to awaken the person, right? Otherwise, just saying that you take, he will not take, right? So
Hmm.
this is the thing, doing everything for the desire of Krishna. That is called the real desirelessness, right? Mataji, go ahead.
Self-realization means acting in Krishna consciousness. A materially desireless person certainly knows that everything belongs to Krishna. Uh,
Ishavasham idam
Vasyam
sarvam.
idam sarvam, and therefore he does not falsely claim proprietorship over anything. This transcendental knowledge is based on self-realization, namely knowing perfectly well that every living entity is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna in spiritual identity, and that the eternal position of the living entity is therefore never on the level of Krishna or greater than him. This understanding of Krishna consciousness is the basic principle of real peace.
So that is very important because asabauta, nobody is equal to Krishna or greater to Krishna. One should have that real understanding that he is the greatest and we are all his part and parcel and everything belongs to him. Only in that consciousness, that is the perfect understanding of Krishna consciousness, and only a Krishna conscious person can attain the real peace because this is our real constitutional position. Unless we act in our constitutional position, we cannot attain real peace. We have United Nations to establish peace. Do you think United Nations is successful in establishing peace?
No.
Why there are so many wars? It shouldn't be, right? There is a peace
Hmm.
organization which is made by the so-called human society for establishing peace. But there is no peace in the world because it is not God centric, right? Unless otherwise the center is Krishna, then where can be the peace? You have your desire, I have my desire. Your desire and my desire will not match, then it will overlap and it will cause friction, right? But if the
Hmm.
center point is one, then there will be a peace, right? Even in the family, where the center point is one, where everybody has the same goal, that family will be peaceful, right? If each and
Yeah.
everybody has different ideas, different ways of living, then there will be a friction, right?
Yeah.
So the real thing is to serve Krishna. Krishna is a supreme Lord, and we are all his eternal servant, and our duty is to serve him. Okay. So this is a schematic diagram. So the living entity, they desire for sense gratification because the very reason that we are born again and again in this material world is because we are trying to satisfy the desires. And how the living entity can become desireless? By desiring for Krishna consciousness means coming out of the false ego and false proprietorship and sense gratification. False ego means understands one actual position as an eternal servant of Krishna. Then only he can come out of the false ego. How can he come out of false proprietorship? Not falsely claim proprietorship over any material things and understand that Krishna is the actual proprietor and you use everything for his service. Then you come out of all desire for sense gratification. And in that way, one can be perfectly situated in the stage of Krishna consciousness and attain peace. And the living entity become desireless, means real desirelessness means satisfying the desire of Krishna. That is called real desirelessness. Everything that we do, we should do for Krishna's satisfaction, to satisfy Krishna's senses. That is actual desirelessness. Okay. We see sometimes people keep Mauna Vrata for their own purpose. They may be quiet for the whole day. The next day, as soon as they talk, so many bad words will come out of that person, right? So just abstaining yourself from something will not get you out of your propensity. But doing everything for Krishna's service. So that is real spirituality means. Spirituality means one should be able to connect to the God, and once nature should be transformed. Then that is called spirituality. Somebody is saying that I am spiritual, but you're not able to connect to God, or you're not able to change your nature, then that is not real spirituality. There are people who go to temple every day, but still they don't establish the connection with the Krishna. Then how can that be called a spirituality? And their nature remains the same. They don't get out of their anger, karma, krodha, lobha. Then what does the spirituality does? It transforms us. Correct? So we can see the teaching of Bhagavad Gita is transforming us. When we are reading these verses, are we not trying to get transformed? We may not be exactly come out of our false ego or false proprietorship and sense gratification, but is it not reduced? Gradually, is it not reduced? Right? Previously, you may think that it was your home. Now, at least you think it is Krishna's home. Right? You think at least Krishna has given this home to me. Right? So, certain things are changing. Right? Previously, you may just eat anything and everything. But now, before you eat, you think, okay, I'm eating something which is not offered to Krishna. Is it very important for me to eat this stuff? Somewhere you're stopping and asking, right? Isn't it? So, this is a actual process of attaining peace. One more verse can we do, please?
Okay, Mataji.
Esha Brahmi Sthita Partha
Esha Brahme Sthita Partha
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Sthitavasya Manta Kalepi
Sthitavasyam Antakalaspi
Brahma Nirvanam Richati
Brahma Nirvanam Rachati
Esha Brahmi Sthita Partha
Esha Brahmani Sthita Partha
Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati
Nainam Praptati Vimuti
Sitavasyam Antakalepi
Sthitavasyam Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvanam Richati
Nirvanam Rachati
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati
Naina Prapya Vimuti
Sitavasyam Antakalepi
Sthitavasyam Antakalepya
Brahma Nirvanam Richati.
Brahma Nirvanam Rachati.
Would like to do this, Loka? Would you like to do, Mataji?
Ji Mataji. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Text 72. Esha Brahma Brahmi, sorry. Esha Brahmi Sthita Partha
Esha Brahmi Sthiti Partha
Naina Prapya Vimuhyati
Nainam Prapya Vimukhyati
Sitavasyam Antakalepi
Sthitavasyam Antakalepi
Brahma Nirvanam Rachati.
Brahma Nirvanam Richati.
Esha, this Brahmi spiritual Sthita situation, Partha, O son of Partha, na never, enam, this, Prapya achieving, Vimyati, one is bewildered, Stitva being situated Asya in this Antakale at the end of life, Api also Brahma Nirvana, the spiritual kingdom of God, Rachati one attains. Translation: that is the way of spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of the death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here Krishna is concluding this chapter. You know, this is becoming Krishna consciousness, coming out of all the false ego, false proprietorship, and sense gratification. This is a way of spiritual and godly life. Only when we follow this, then a man is not bewildered. So sometimes we may think, we have wasted a lot of our time. We have not been Krishna conscious from our childhood, even from the youth. We entered Krishna consciousness very late, but Krishna is giving the answer to that. Even if one is situated at the hour of death, no matter if you're late, but if you are becoming Krishna conscious even towards the end of the life, then such a person is eligible to enter the kingdom of the Lord. So this is the last benefit of Buddhi Yoga, where the person enters the kingdom of the Lord. A Krishna conscious person will directly serve Krishna in his abode. Okay. Mataji, continue.
One can attain Krishna conscious even at the time of death. One can attain consciousness or divine life at once within a second, or may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact Katwanga Maharaj. Katwanga Maharaja attained this state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna.
So it all depends how much one surrender to Krishna at the hour of death. Even when somebody asks Prabhupada this question, we have done so many sinful activities in our previous lifetimes and this lifetime also. So, how many lifetimes will it take for us to go back home, back to Godhead? And Prabhupada said, did you not read Bhagavad Gita properly? It just take 1 minute. Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityaksha
But
Mamekam
Mamekam
Sharanam Vritta
Sharanam Braj.
Aham Tvam
Aham
Sarva
Tvam Sarva
Papebhyo
Papebhyo
Mokshayishami
Mokshayami
Masuja. When you
Masucha.
are completely surrendering to Krishna, Krishna is giving an assurance that he will get rid of all your sarva papa. He takes out all your sinful activities and give you moksha, the liberation. So it is that state of surrender, that sarva dharman parityajya. How much one surrender to Krishna, fully surrender to Krishna, then that person can immediately attain the kingdom of the Lord. If somebody is in the process of Krishna conscious and they are not surrendering to Krishna properly, योग भी करते हैं और भोग भी करते हैं, they are doing Krishna conscious at the same time we are also enjoying this material world. We think, we have family, we have to satisfy the husband, we have to satisfy the relatives, we have to satisfy the children. So by doing so we will not be able to follow the rules and regulations of a Krishna conscious person, how a Krishna conscious person should be. And the moment, if we are not completely following the instructions of Krishna and if we are not surrendering to Krishna, then we may be in this path for many, many lifetimes, but still we may not go back home, back to Godhead.
Godhead.
One example here Prabhupada has given is Katvanga Maharaj. He was a very powerful king that the demigods, they took his help to fight against the Asuras. And because he helped them in winning the war against them, they are giving a boon to Katvanga Maharaj. Please ask for a boon. You have helped us a lot. And Katvanga Maharaj is asking, he wants to know how long he is going to live. What is be his duration of life? And Devatas, they say that he has only one muhurt. So he has very less time to live. But Katvanga Maharaj, because he has rendered certain service to the Devatas, he would have said, okay, maybe take me to another planet, because we saw that the time is relative. Just one breath of Mahavishnu is 100 years of Brahma, and one day of Brahma is 1,000 kalpas. And one kalpa is a combination of Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So if he is transferred to some other planet, maybe the same duration what he will live in the earthly planet for 2-3 hours, maybe a little longer time, and he can enjoy himself a more. But he was a self-realized person. Immediately he came back to the earth and he performed meditation to Krishna. He completely surrendered to Krishna and he went back home, back to Godhead. So, through the example of Katvanga Maharaj, we are getting inspiration that anytime, no matter we are old, even at this stage, if we are coming to Krishna consciousness and if we are following the rules and regulations and instructions of Krishna and we are completely surrendering to Krishna, then we can attain perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. Okay.
What is nirvana? Nirvana means ending the process of materialistic life. According to Buddhist philosophy, there is only void after completion of this material life, but the Bhagavad Gita teaches differently.
So, nirvana, according to the Buddhist philosophy, is they think that everything is a void. They think that because we are having the body, we are having misery. So, once you dismantle this body, then there won't be any miseries. But Bhagavad Gita's perspective of nirvana is very different. Bhagavad
Different.
Gita says that nirvana means you're stopping the material life and you're starting your spiritual life.
Spiritual life.
Called the nirvana according to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna is not supporting this Buddhist philosophy of nirvana that everything is a void. That's why even in our pranam mantra we say nirvishesha shunyavadi. So Prabhupada went to, to abolish all these shunyavadis and everything, because so many wrong philosophies are going all over the world, and he went to the Western world, which is filled with all this impersonalism and shunyavadis, and he gave them Krishna consciousness.
Conscious.
We are singing in the pranam mantra, no? Namo Vishnu Padaya,
Yeah.
Krishna
Vishnu.
Prasthaya. What is the stage of Brahma Nirvana?
Actually, the stage of Brahma Nirvana. Actual life begins after completion of this material life. For the gross materialist, it is sufficient to know that one has to end his materialistic way of life. But for the person who was spiritually advanced, there is another life after this materialistic life. Before ending this life, if one fortunately becomes Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana.
So this is Brahma Nirvana. Brahma Bhuta Prasannata na sochati na kankshati. So Brahma Bhuta stage is he is not worried about anything. Na sochati na kankshati. He is not lamenting over anything or he is not doing. So he is completely Krishna conscious state. That is called the Brahma Nirvana.
Nirvana.
Okay. So he is called a spiritually advanced person.
There is no difference between the kingdom of God and the developed devotional service of the Lord. Since both of them are on the absolute plane, to be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to be attained the spiritual kingdom.
So for a devotee, it doesn't matter that he has to wait until he leave his body and then he will get liberated and go back to Krishna's planet and serve. Even a devotee who is serving Krishna, who is rendering devotional service to Krishna in this material world, no matter he is living in this world, he is already in the liberated stage. In the same body, one can be in the liberated stage by rendering loving devotional service to Krishna. One doesn't have to wait till the time of death so that you go back home and serve Krishna over there. Both are the same, serving the kingdom of the Lord and serving here, because in the absolute plane both are the same. The Archa Vigraha is non-different from Krishna. When we go to the temple, we should not think that it is just a statue. They are deity, because Krishna, very mercifully, we don't have eyes to see Krishna because our senses are so blunt. We don't have the qualification to see Krishna. So Krishna very mercifully descended in some material form so that he can accept our service. So when you are serving Krishna, even in your home or even in a temple or anywhere, it is as equivalent to serving Krishna in the spiritual kingdom. So we are already in a liberated stage for those who are serving Krishna lovingly. Okay.
Difference between material life and spiritual life. In the material world, there are activities of sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness, even during this life, is immediate attainment of Brahma. And one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly and already entered into the kingdom of God.
So that is, if you're Krishna conscious, if you're completely Sita Prajna, you're already entered the kingdom of the Lord. You don't have to wait like till the last minute. We have seen so many devotees who were suffering from diseases like cancer. They were in a very, very ecstatic stage, even in that situation, because they have already attained the kingdom of the Lord. Their loving service of Krishna has already given. The bodily impediments did not stop them. And in the material world, all the activities are for what? What does a materialistic person work so hard? Whether you're studying here, you're studying this, you're doing business, you're a great person, you're making a lot of money, you're a scientist, you're a philosopher, whatever you are, at the end, what is the motive of a materialistic person is? To satisfy the senses, to gratify the senses. Whereas in the spiritual world, a spiritualist person, all the activities that a person does is for satisfying Krishna's senses. So that is all based on Krishna conscious activity. So when one becomes Krishna conscious, he has already attained liberation and he is already in touch with the Lord. He has already entered the kingdom of the Lord, not have to wait till the time of death. Yes, Mataji?
What is Brahmisthiti? Brahman Brahman is just the opposite of matter. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti means not on the platform of material activities. Devotional service of the Lord is accepted in the Bhagavad Gita as the liberated stage. Sagunan
Samhita Brahma
Samidityayan
Bhuyaya
Brahma
Kalpate.
Bhuyata Kalpati. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti is liberation from material
Material
bondage.
body. So, Mam Chayoga Bicharena Bhakti Yoga Sagunan Samitetan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. So when one is rendering a transcendental loving service for the Lord, that is called the Brahmisthiti. Not serving the matter, but serving Krishna. Serving. Therefore, Brahmisthiti means liberation from the material bondage. That is called the Brahmisthiti. Not doing any activity on a material platform. Okay, but as we just saw, in the material world, everybody is doing work on a materialistic platform. But a spiritualist, a person who is in the Brahma Bhuta stage, he is serving not the matter, but the Lord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Summary of the second chapter according to Bhakti Vinoda Thakura. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Thakura has Vinoda Thakura has summarized this second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita as being the contents for the whole text. In the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matters are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. In the second chapter, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga has been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the contents for the complete text.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakura, in his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, says that the second chapter is called as a summary of the Bhagavad Gita. This is called the Gita ka Sar. Why? Because all the subject matters of Bhagavad Gita is discussed here. Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Everything has been, a glimpse of it is given. Now Arjuna will still ask many questions. Not that Arjuna is bewildered. He knows that we are all so many conditioned souls like us will read and we will not be able to understand it perfectly. Therefore, Arjuna asks deeper questions in this subject matter for our deeper understanding of the Bhagavad Gita.
Love.
Okay, so that is why this is called as a summary of the Bhagavad Gita, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur says this is a second chapter is a summary of the Bhagavad Gita. So we saw that Bhagavad Gita is chapter 2 is the content summarized, and Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 talks about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti
Buddhi Yoga.
and the living entity so can attain Krishna consciousness even at the time of death. So one should not think, I'm too late to to come into Krishna consciousness. Doesn't matter whatever stage one comes in Krishna consciousness. Like we saw the example of Katvanga Maharaj, just in the last minute He meditated on Krishna and he went back home, back to Godhead.
Got it.
And nirvana, according to Bhagavad Gita, according to Krishna, means not that everything is a void, but ending the material life. And then he enters the Brahma Nirvana stage. Brahma Nirvana stage means attaining Krishna consciousness in this own lifetime. So, doing everything in the service of Krishna. He stops his material activities, and whatever activities he does is to satisfy Krishna's senses. You may be working, you may be doing all your activities, but your activities is now centered in satisfying Krishna's desire. And what is Brahmi Sthiti means? Liberation from the material bondage. That is
Bondage.
the Brahmi Sthiti, which means the actual life begins after completion of the material life in this very lifetime. We don't have to wait till the time of death. When we stop our materialistic life and when we are rendering devotional service to Lord, in this very lifetime, one can attain this stage of Brahmi Sthiti. Okay? And perform devotional service to Krishna in this very own lifetime. And at the end of the life, one can go back home, back to Godhead.
Got it.
So for a devotee, it is the same, whether he serves Krishna in this body, in this lifetime, or whether he serves Krishna in his eternal kingdom, in the absolute platform, both are on the same plane. It doesn't make any difference to him, because once you're rendering devotional service to Krishna and come out of the materialistic activity, you're already reaching the Brahmi Sthiti. You're situated in the spiritual platform and no more in the material platform. Okay. And how do we understand this? By seeing the example of the devotees who have already attained that stage. Prabhupada, at 70 years, he went to the West. He suffered 2 heart attacks on the way to America. He hardly carried 40 rupees with him, right? In spite of that, he gave Krishna consciousness to all the people who are in the West. They were all, they didn't have any qualification. They were all meat eaters. They were all drunkards. They were all drug addicts, hippies. To such a kind of people, Prabhupada has given them Krishna consciousness, and he established 108 temples and authored over 60 books, right? So we can understand. And even in the movement, very recently, so many Guru Maharaj who are giving Diksha, they also attain this Brahma Nirvana stage. When you see them, you can understand that. And so many devotees who are in the advanced stage, you can see them. When you see their life and you associate with them, you can understand that they are not in the material platform and they have reached this Brahma Sthiti stage. Okay, so therefore, it is very important that we have to associate with such devotees, and we have to associate. We can always associate with Prabhupada anytime, every time. How? When you're reading Prabhupada's book, you're associating directly with him, right? So we all have access to associate with the pure devotee of like Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? Even if
Yeah.
we cannot get out of the home, you cannot travel to temple for 1.5, 2 hours. It may not be very easy for all of us to go to temple every week or so. But you, by being in the home, we can associate with Prabhupada. We can associate with his book. We can associate with his Vani. And how beautifully Prabhupada has given the purports, right? How beautiful is Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? So beautifully, when we are hearing and when we are reading Prabhupada's purport, are we not getting inspiration that we should also end our materialistic life and render devotional service to Krishna? Isn't it? Are we not inspired?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. So any questions or any realizations? Was today is the last day of our second chapter. It was a big chapter with 72 verses, the second biggest chapter in Bhagavad Gita. The last chapter has 78 verses, chapter 18. And the next biggest chapter is chapter 2. And in fact, in terms of the content, the chapter 2 is considered even more biggest than the chapter 18. Chapter 18, again, Krishna speaks more on the modes of nature and other thing, which he already elaborated a lot in the 17th chapter. So by the time we go to 18th chapter, we have a very good knowledge of it already. It is like a revision after doing the entire subject in detail. But this is like a preview before reading the subject matter in detail, right? So it was a lot of content in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, any questions or any realizations, any protests or anything that I should improve, you can please tell me.
No,
No,
Mataji, nothing.
Mataji. Yeah, good.
Is the pace going okay? Are you all getting benefited through these classes?
Yes,
Yes.
Mataji.
Fine. Anything, because this class is only for benefiting all of you. So if at all anything, please feel free to express it. Okay. That's very important because ultimately our purpose is to serve Krishna and attain this Brahma Nirvana, Brahmistiti state. That should be the goal of our life. Okay. So not, yes, yam yam vapi sparan bhavam tyajante kalevaram. Whatever consciousness one leave the body, that body one attains the sure. But if you are not conscious of Krishna during the very lifetime, how is it possible to remember Krishna at the time of death? Life is a preparation and death is a examination, right? So can we do the exam well without preparation?
No.
So therefore, it's very beautiful. Bhagavad Gita is such a beautiful knowledge, right? Imagine if this particular knowledge has become a school curriculum where the children
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hello. Even Mataji, even I'm not able to hear Mataji. Yeah, I think Meera Mataji, even we are not able to hear.
sorry, I
Hare
think,
Krishna Mataji.
okay, sorry, I think there is some internet issues, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, no problem.
Okay. Okay. So I just said that such an amazing knowledge. Imagine if this knowledge is given to the youngsters, how nice our
In a
country
curriculum.
would be.
You
Yeah.
said even a
And
curriculum
instead,
if you have.
we are introducing AI and this one and India. Previously, India is not known for frustration, depression, and all these things. But we have become like West, where all such diseases, sleeplessness, depression, and everything is on a rise today because we have such a great knowledge, but we are ignoring that knowledge. And in the term of modern science, we are increasing our material desires and becoming more and more entangled in this material world. Correct? We'll do the Namaste Narsimhaya. Any questions or any realizations? And Mataji, before that, I would just like to say one thing.